February 21st, Last Epoch releases its full version, and here are 15 reasons why you need to play this game. Heroes. Last Epoch comes to us February 21st and already has generated a huge following with their unique mechanics, builds, and characters, and it's only been in beta. So this video covers Last Epoch beta version 9.2 and why my number 1 is considered my favorite. 15. Game Guide. Last Epoch not only has a more in-depth system when it comes to talent trees, but their built-in game guide is a great resource if you should ever have questions or require details on what certain skills do. Not only that, but the guide also goes over gameplay, effects, rarities, how to craft, and so much more. This is one reason why I believe Last Epoch is a great game for ARPG players to try and explore. Number 14. Easy skills and passive trees. Even though some may look at the trees and passives and be a little overwhelmed, if you just took the time to read what the abilities and benefits are, you'll see how one can help the other, and how many of the skills themselves when you specialize in an ability is simple to follow, easy pathways to take and advantages it can provide. Some could be said that with the passives, yes, there are a lot. However, you do not need to take everything. See what there is and consider what may help you and work towards it or put points in it. In the end, the skills and passives are not overly complicated, but each can make a huge difference in your character's abilities. Number 13. Doesn't force you to buy anything. One key aspect of Last Epoch is the fact that they do not force you to purchase anything in-game or push you to purchase anything in-game. As a matter of fact, Last Epoch is extremely affordable, and the only thing in-game you can purchase are pets or cosmetics. And neither of those truly do anything spectacular for you. Pets just go around with you and cosmetics make you look amazing. But the game itself has a ton of great looking free gear you can find that makes your character that terrifying warrior. So this I find is a massive plus considering this dev doesn't want to force microtransactions down your throat. Number 12. Loot filtering. I've spoken about this before, but loot filtering is a massive tool to help the player limit the amount of gear always on the ground. This is just good at cleaning the drops and making sure that the allocated drops you do see are the ones that can benefit your build. It's a simple tool that dives deep into its capabilities and easy to use, and a tool which I think is a massive help to keep things organized and non-hectic. Number 11. Legendary potential. This mechanic in the game is very detailed and has massive potential to output absolutely amazing and powerful items. I don't plan to go into a lot of detail here, but in short, when you have an item with legendary potential, you can transfer affixes from exalted items over to the unique item using an eternity cache at the end of a dungeon. The item must be the same type, and the exalted item must have 4 unsealed affixes. So, depending on the amount of legendary potential your item has from 0 to 4, that will determine the amount of affixes that will transfer over to the now legendary item. This mechanic deserves its own video, and I won't dive too deep into this, but this alone can make some truly amazing items and adds more variety to the player. Number 10. Reasonably priced. One of the biggest draws is the cost of the game. At this time, Last Epoch is going for around $35, and for a game that has so much in the way of characters, classes, gear, mechanics, and so much more, this is well worth the value. You'll find that not only are you satisfied with what you purchased, but if you wanted to go even further buying an in-game pet or cosmetic to show additional support, it won't break your wallet. So I find affordability in today's world is a massive plus for the amount of content you'll be getting. Number 9. Crafting. Crafting has always been an important aspect in ARPGs, and Last Epoch is hands down the best crafting system I have seen in a while. The resources you pick up allow you to specialize your crafting gear as you see fit. So, depending on the type of damage you do, you can specialize your weapon to specifically do that damage and add additional affixes to them to work on top of that, such as critical, chance of poison, attack speed, and so much more. But it digs so much deeper than that. Using glyphs on top of you modifying your weapon gives you even more potential to not use up forging potential. This is the measurement of how many times or how much you can upgrade your weapon. There are glyphs that can re-roll a stat and much more. Not to mention that legendary potential, as described before, is also a big aspect of crafting. This is a massive portion of the game and can truly output some amazing pieces of material and weaponry, and in a way deserves its own video. Number 8. Trading. Trading in Last Epoch will come with the final release of the game February 21st. The TLDR of this new mechanic is that you will pick between two factions, the Circle of Fortune or the Merchants Guild. These factions will then have tags associated to your items that you drop. So, if you wanted to trade or swap, they must be done with other individuals or players that are a part of the same guild. So you'll trade freely and level up those factions throughout your adventures by trading specific types of items. Each guild will provide their own specific rewards and benefits, but that in itself is intended for another video, because frankly this mechanic needs its own video. Number 7. Additional details. One thing that Last Epoch does very well is provide the necessary information for gear and skills. Simply pressing Alt when advised will provide you what that effect does, what certain affixes do, and much more. This detail can even go as far as to advise you why it may not work for your current build. A simple mechanic and helps provide a value to the player. Number 6. Massive replayability. Last Epoch's true strength is in the amount of replayability the game has, for different builds to different items to find, to different ways you can play out a character and the vast crafting options. Plus the number of different classes comes the availability to try new things out and what some builds do over others. This is a big selling point in my opinion and gives a huge variety to the player. Number 5. 20 classes. To make a point of number 6, with each main class you play, you have 3 professions you can take from that, and you can mix and match all of them, or strictly go right into one. This gives the player an amazing 20 classes you can work with and be unique. It's a massive number of possibilities and I think brings so much value to the player, and with a full release around the corner, we are getting 2 professions which have been locked since the game's beta release, which adds to the excitement for veteran players. Number 4. Storyline. One of the best things I could recommend is a storyline. Not only is a story detailed, voice acted well done, and overall enjoyable, there is a lot of content you can cover. However, not necessarily a ton of content, which means that you can get to endgame a bit faster. I also feel that leveling is also quicker and more enjoyable. I found the main storyline can go from 14 to 16 hours, with an additional 15 hours with side missions. It's a great amount of time to sink into the game and mechanics and then grind your way to the end game and begin to truly test out your build. Good amount of story, good number of missions, and good amount of time spent in the game. Number 3. Endgame and monoliths. The endgame for Last Epoch is in a way more detailed and has more to do than Diablo 4. When it comes to endgame mechanics, you want something to keep the player coming back for more. You need it to be entertaining while at the same time challenging, and I find Last Epoch does this well. Once you unlock your mastery classes, you can also unlock the ability to use the monoliths, which is an endgame mechanic. However, the lowest level monolith is level 58, so if you're nowhere near that, maybe level up some more. You can still power level if you want, but it will be a challenge to say the least. The monoliths provide you the ability to play out that island's level, that will give echo rewards when you complete the island. With completion also adds a stability in the timeline, which then unlocks additional echo quests that can be mini bosses and endgame bosses. Not only that, but completing these islands give you a blessing that also lasts throughout your game. There are also endgame dungeons that allow you to gold sync and to pick the type of rewards you get, depending on the amount of gold you have and questions you've answered once completed. The second is a temporal sanctum, and this is where you can make a legendary potential item as described in point 11. But this dungeon allows you to shift through realities and provides another type of gameplay. But endgame is on another level in Last Epoch and truly worth the grind. Number 2. Ease of respecking. One thing that many people sometimes do is respec their entire character. Maybe they don't like a build, or they want to try with another skill or passive. Last Epoch makes it very easy to respec your character, from despecializing a skill to removing passive skill points one by one. If you have the coin for it, you can respec your entire passive skill tree, and the abilities can be changed out too. Once you unlock an ability, you're free to use it. However, it's the specialized ones that give you the biggest impact, and considering you only have specific specialization slots, you have to be picky with what you try. And those can also be despecialized to allow the player to try another skill and its attributes. It's simple to respec and believe it provides the player with more freedom and flexibility. Before we get to our number 1, I do ask you that if you've come this far, please do me a favor, leave a like to the video and a sub to the channel as it helps out tremendously. Also, if you want to leave a comment down below, please feel free to do so. Let me know what your thoughts are so far. My number 1, organic builds. Some people in today's world may not want to follow guides or S-tier builds to grind the meta in the game and become the best of the best. Some just want to build their own character and see where it can take them. This is one of the biggest reasons why I believe Last Epoch is a true success. Organic natural builds a player can just spec into, usually can be successful on their own. The ease of skills and passives and combinations are simplistic, and even when you don't specifically match skills and buffs, the passive and skills work well to your character on their own. There isn't a "you must do it this way" concept, it's simply seeing what works. In the end, this is your own character, and you are the only one who knows how to enjoy and play. So having the ability to organically make a build and can still output tremendous amount of damage goes a long way, and I think this is the most important reason to play this, because the combinations are endless. Those are my 15 recommendations on why you need to play Last Epoch, specifically because they are coming out February 21st with their full official build. So let me know in the comments, have you played Last Epoch or have you not played Last Epoch, and what are your thoughts about it? Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please do me a favor, leave a like to the video and a sub to the channel and a comment on this video if you possibly can to help it get to more eyes. Thank you so much for watching, and I will leave it here. From me to you, make sure to heal. Please heal.